Okay, good morning, grade 11s. Normally we would be in the cafeteria to do course option assembly. However, this year has not afforded us that luxury, so I will be doing a voiceover slideshow of that presentation. If you have any questions about course selection next year, because it is so important for your grade 12 year, please make an appointment with your counselor or send them a quick email. Okay, let's get started. So things that you have in front of you are the Bramley course offerings, which I sent along with this email in the Google Classroom. That is a list of all the grade 12 courses that you have the ability to choose from for next year. Remember, going to university, you want to see your grade 12 courses, 6 grade 12 U or M courses, and college can be a mixture of 11 or 12 courses. You're going to choose your English, which is your only compulsory course, and then up to 7 optional courses based on your pathway and your interests. And these are entirely based on what your requirements are to go next year, whether that's onto a post-secondary education or whether that's onto workplace or an apprenticeship. As a reminder, high school is a 4-year program. Okay, within those 4 years, you should get 30 credits. 18 of them were compulsory, meaning you had to take them. 12 of them were optional. There have been no changes to the community service hours for your graduating year next year so far. You still need 40 hours of community service, and I know that's difficult right now to be getting that, but I have posted some opportunities up on the Google Classroom and will continue to do so. You also should have successfully completed your literacy tests. And I know that this is tricky because some of you still have not done that. Many of you still have not done that, I think, because last spring it was canceled. Supposedly there's one this spring, but we haven't heard it yet. So there's nothing you can do about it. You don't have to worry about it. Let the government and us worry about that. In terms of your compulsory credit requirements, there are the compulsory credits, most of them that you should have gotten. The only one that you should have left from this list is English. If it's not, you need to go fix it up. And again, I mean, you should have completed all these by the end of this year. Where I do find kids get into some trouble is in these groupings. So these are also compulsory credits. You need one from each of these groups. Group 1 is an additional credit in art, business, phys ed, co-op. Group 2, Canadian World Studies, English, social science, etc. Group 3, senior science, tech, computer studies. I find a lot of kids generally miss that group 2 or group 3 course. So please make sure when you're doing course selection in Myblueprint, you can look very clearly as to whether you have all of these compulsory credits. If you don't, make sure you're choosing one for next year. So again, grade 12, the only compulsory course is English. I would choose 8 courses. I know that you qualify for a spare next year. However, it is so much easier to drop a course rather than try and take another one, right? And I think a testament to that is this year, right? Trying to get into any courses is a nightmare. Dropping them is real easy, but trying to get them is really difficult. And with the government cutbacks, less teachers, less courses, it makes it super difficult. So please choose 8. And then if you don't want them, it's an easy drop. If you're a grade 12 immersion student next year, the only courses that you need are your English and your grade 12 immersion. Okay, and then you get the option to choose 6 other additional courses. If you're a transportation student, a specialist high skills major student, you need to choose your English and then your 2 transportation courses, your TTT 4CH and your TTJ 4CH. You also need to choose co-op. Now, having said that, if you are a university-bound schism student, you cannot afford to put a 4-credit co-op package in your course offerings next year. You will be mandated to do a 2-credit co-op this summer. So please be very aware that you are watching out for the summer co-op advertising on the Google Classroom because you will need to apply for that. Okay? You cannot get your specialist high skills major certificate without having some type of co-op, whether it's 4-credit or 2-credit. The only issue is we only at Bramley offer the 4-credit package. It should also be noted that if you plan to go to college for transportation, they require math. Okay, to get into truck and coach specifically at Centennial Conestoga, you need a math course. So if you plan to go an apprenticeship, you don't necessarily need math. But if you plan to go into college for this program as a diploma, you will need grade 12 math. When you're choosing your academic level, think about the end in mind. What is your pathway? Are you moving into work, apprenticeship, college, university, and take the courses specific to that pathway? If you know you're going to college, there's no use to take, ENG 4UO, university level English, right? A college will look at the mark that you get, not the pathway you took to get it. Ask your teacher, counselor for recommendations. Look at your achievement so far. If you have a full university pathway with marks in the 50s, that will not get you into university or college. Look at what your destination requirements are. Okay, make sure you have the requirements. Make sure you have the right math. You have the right level of science, and be realistic. So I've just put this slideshow up to show you grade 12 math pathway. If you took a locally developed pathway, MEL 3EO, you could move into the MEL 4EO. I would like to note that to graduate, you only need 3 maths, which you all should have by the end of this year. The only reason you would take a grade 12 math is 1, if you're interested, and 2, if you need it as a prerequisite. And you need to know what math you need as a prerequisite to get into whatever college or university program you may be looking at. Okay? If you took MBF 3CO, college level math, that leads only to MAP 4CO, grade 12 college level math. And that's the math you need for college level science programs like nursing or dental hygienist or paramedicine or ambulatory care or engineering programs at the college level, diploma programs. If you took the mixed math, that can lead to either the MAP4CO or data management, the MDM4UO. And I would suggest you have over 70% in MCF3MO to move into the data management. It's a difficult course. Data management is not asked for by a lot of universities as a prerequisite. Some business programs will use it, but you can't use data management for any type of science or engineering program, most of them. Okay, so look very closely at where you're applying to and whether data management can be used. If you took the MCR3UO functions and have over 70%, I would recommend the MHF4UO. Calculus, MCV4UO, is a co-requisite to functions, MHF4UO. You can take it at the same time. However, we do it so that we only offer functions first semester and we only offer calculus second semester, which means you'll never have to take them at the same time. You'll notice some universities, especially some engineering programs, ask for only calculus. That doesn't mean that you don't have to take functions, though. You still need to take functions in order to take calculus. It just means that they won't use the functions mark in their average. They'll use the calculus mark if they're asking for that. So again, check your destination prerequisites before choosing this math. Co-op is an amazing opportunity for students. Now, co-op is really difficult if you're going to university. If you're going to university, you need 6 grade 12 U or M courses. You can only take 4 a semester. That means you need to take 2 in the next semester at least. And taking co-op doesn't afford that because co-op is a 4-credit package. Okay, so this is an amazing opportunity for those of you going to an apprenticeship or into the workplace or to college. I highly recommend it. Okay. There's ways you can do co-op. You can do the 4-credit packages, which is what we offer at Bramley, 1 full semester. Within that, there's regional co-op, which I'll explain in a second. Or you can do summer credit co-op, and that's just 2 credit for the month of July. And I would suggest, again, if you're a university specialist high skills major student, you need to apply for that summer co-op. So keep a very close eye to that being posted on the Google Classroom. Within co-op, there's a whole different realm of things you can do. You can do the Ontario Youth Accelerated Apprenticeship Program, the OEAP program. So you can do it as OEAP or Accelerated OEAP, in which you actually start gaining hours towards your apprenticeship. You don't have to wait till you're done high school to start gaining those hours. Remember, as an apprentice, you work under a skilled tradesman, gaining hours and doing schooling until you've done all the hours in the schooling enough to be able to write your tradesman's papers. And those hours can be upwards of, 3,000 to 8,000 hours in a trade. If you can start them in high school, that's getting 500 to 1,000 hours out of the way. You could also do a dual credit program, which is doing college and high school at the same time, which I'll explain in a second. You can go into a workplace experience. So you can just say, I want to work in a law office. I want to work in a nursing home. I want to work in an advertising firm, and we'll try and find you a placement for that. Or you can apply to one of the regional programs like the nursing program, which runs out of William Osler, the armed forces, which you actually go to board and base to do, or policing programs. And all those programs are based on interviews. So dual credit, I talked about being able to do, co-op and college at the same time. That's what dual credit is about. So you get both college credits and secondary credits at the same time, 2 college credits. And the host of programs that they offer at these colleges, whether it be Sheridan or Humber or George Brown, are amazing. I've just listed a few here: film and television, acting, animation, forensic psychology, criminal justice, baking, welding, fitness, spa management, and so on and so on. They add more every year. There's amazing opportunities, and you have 2 college credits coming out, which makes it easier for you to get into that particular college. Gives you a whole feeling of being a college student. And again, we pay for it all. We pay for your transportation to get there. We pay for your books. We pay for your courses. There is no cost to you for this program. So by this time, you're halfway through grade 11, you really need to know your pathway. What are you going to do after next year? Because your courses depend on that. Are you going out to work? Are you going to an apprenticeship? Are you going to college? Are you going to university? And what program are you really looking in? A lot of people want to work in the health industry, and they'll come in my office and say, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a nurse. There's so many more fields that you can go into. Think outside the box a little bit, and so many different pathways to get there. Medical radiation technologist is a college diploma program, one of the highest paid Ontario college programs that there is. But bioethics, health administration, kinesiology are all university programs. Paramedicine is a joint degree and diploma program. You're doing university and college at the same time. If you want to be a developmental service worker, you can do it as an apprenticeship. Personal training, you can do as entrepreneurship. You don't have to go to any post-secondary institution. Addiction and mental health graduate, you can do a mental health diploma and then a certificate in addictions that makes you even higher qualified. Or you can do a degree in social work and then go to college after and do an addiction and mental health certificate to make you more specialized. So again, there's so many different ways. College and university are not distinct institutions right now. They overlap so much. The biggest feeder school of colleges are university level students, right? University level students are coming out with a ton of theoretical knowledge and not a lot of hands-on experience. And a lot of them find themselves having to go to college to do a certificate or diploma and get that hands-on experience. Another one I put up is a child and youth worker moving into social work. So, that we have many child and youth workers. Miss Woonfat used to work out of the contact room. Ishana's in the contact room. So our BTAs work out of the contact room with kids, and our social work works out of guidance with students. So, they're both working with students within a high school setting, but they both have very different education backgrounds. To be a child and youth worker, you can do it as an apprenticeship or a college diploma. And social work is a bachelor degree at university. And to work in a school setting as a social work, you should really have a master's of social work, which is an additional 2 years of university after your 4 years. Okay, but regardless, they're both working with students within a high school or elementary setting. And if that's what you're interested in, there's a pathway to do that. And if you started a child and youth worker and decided you wanted to go to university later and continue your studies, you could do that on a part-time basis. So I just updated this, Canada's 25 top 25 jobs, and this is in no particular order. So, nurse practitioner being number 1 doesn't mean it's the number 1 job. They were just updated this year, and these are based on not only income, salary, but also growth opportunity. And why I wanted to put this up there is you can see that it's a whole host of programs. It is not specific. A lot of people think I have to go to university to get a good job, and that is not the case. Some of these programs are university, but many of these programs are college and apprenticeship programs. So pipe fitting supervisor, mining and quarry supervisor, construction manager, power line and cable worker, elevator mechanic, oil and gas drilling supervisor. Those are all college level programs. Right? Looking at something, and so is a university programs are looking at nurse practitioners, dentist, engineering, occupational therapist, principal. I mean, you can't be a principal without being a teacher first. So that one's a little bit more, I don't necessarily love that they put principal without putting teacher first, but looks like teacher didn't make the list. Financial manager, human resource manager, those more university programs, but it shows that, each pathway has a huge area of growth and salary attached to it. This is still on there. This was the Canada's top jobs from 2017. So I updated a bit. And some of the ones they took off are pilot and flying instructor. Obviously, not a lot of planes in the sky in the last few years. Naval deck officer, aerospace engineer, pharmacist are things that came off the list to replace it with other things. So we need to plan for a destination, right? University, as a reminder, a minimum of 6 grade 12 U or M courses. I would recommend absolutely having 7 so you can take your top 6. College will always be based on the prerequisite courses that they identify. Do you need biology? Do you need chemistry at the college level? Do you need a leadership course? Do you need an automotive course? Applied degrees at college. So I've talked to you about this before, that colleges, so what happened was that employers went to the government and said, kids coming out of university have so much knowledge, but no hands-on experience. They can't do anything. They can think, but they don't have any hands-on experience. So because of that, they allowed the colleges to offer university degrees. And within that university degree, they incorporate hands-on and co-op experiences. So if you're going to do a degree at college, you'll pay less money for it, a little bit less of an average at some colleges and smaller classes. However, you still need the 6th grade 12 U or M courses to get into it. It still will be fairly similar prerequisites, maybe a bit different. I look at nursing at Ryerson. You need to have grade 12 functions. But nursing at George Brown and Ryerson, so 2 years at George Brown, 2 years at Ryerson, exactly the same program, but the math requirement is very different, and so is the average to get into the program. So have a look at some of those applied degrees at colleges. And apprenticeships or workforce, if you're going into that, I would highly recommend taking the OAP or co-op program. It's not, necessary, but man, will it ever help you. So let's talk a little bit about college. Within college, there's a bunch of different things that you can do. You don't want to apply for a certificate program. A certificate program is a 1-year program, and that's generally done after you got a diploma or a degree to specialize. So we talked about the addictions and mental health certificate after. That would be a 1-year certificate that you do after you have a social work degree, or after you have a child and youth worker degree, or probation corrections officer, because you want to get a little bit more specified. But it's not something that out of high school you would apply to. What you would apply to is a diploma program, okay, which is it says 1 to 2 years, but it's 1 to 3 years, okay? A diploma program is a year to 3 years. You can also apply for the applied bachelor degree. So again, a university program, it's a bachelor degree, which means it's 4 years, just like it would be a university. Or you can apply for a joint college university program. So doing college and university at the exact same time, which will run about 5 years, okay? College will mix your academic learning with practical experience, which is why they're so phenomenal. You come out with experience, which is so hard to get now unless you do a co-op program within a university. The advantages of college, look at diploma programs about $2,400. Bachelor programs are about $6,100 compared to $8,000 to more at university. A joint college university program will run around $5,000. So the cost to go to it is lower than university. You have much lower student to instructor ratio, smaller classes, and you get more hands-on skills. Okay, business need skilled labor people. I included this last year. These are the 10 most valuable diplomas in Canada. Okay, so a business, commerce, marketing, finance or financial management, insurance, health diagnostic intervention, treatment, and that includes that medical radiation, criminology, marine transportation, air transportation, stationary engineer, sources installer, and mining and petroleum techniques. Okay, so those are the most valuable diplomas as of 2018. And I do want to point out that criminology one is really because it leads into policing, right? Policing, you can take a college diploma and move into the police force, or a university degree and apply to the police academy. To prepare for college, your grade 12 English is mandatory, right? And then all your other courses are based on whatever prerequisites you need for the program. Okay, preference is generally not given to UM level courses. So like I said before, you having university level math when you only needed college level math, they don't give any preference to that. They're not going to give you, 10 more percent because you took it at a different level. Midterm marks are collected at college. So they will look at your midterm marks in November next year. Admission averages are calculated for competitive programs. So, fire is upwards of 85%, paramedic 95%, nursing 74 to 90%. Those are very competitive programs in the GTA. If you move out of the GTA, if you're willing up to go to Sault Ste. Marie, to Sault College to do fire, the averages and likelihood of you getting in are much higher. It doesn't make it any less of a program. It just means that the applicant pool is far smaller, so the average to get into it is lower. Not a lot of people can afford to go up there for a few years and stay there, but if something you really want to do, there are many colleges that you can get into that are outside the GTA. You also want to look at what else the college is asking you for. Do you need a portfolio for any arts or animation or video game design? You're going to need some type of portfolio. What about an audition? You're going to need that for broadcasting, acting, an interview. Okay, so make sure you prepare for that. And the colleges offer a whole host of programs that help you prepare for those. If you plan on going to university, there's two things that you would apply for, either a general degree or an honors degree. If you plan on doing anything after university, whether that's your master's, a PhD, or some type of professional degree like a medicine, law, education, occupational therapy, physiotherapy, any of those, you need an honors degree, a 4-year degree. And the only difference is an honors degree means that you either do a thesis in your last year, your 4th year, or you do coursework. So, for example, I did have an honors biology degree, and my last year was spent doing a thesis on cascading trophic interactions within a lake. So I spent the entire year on the lake researching the lake, and then wrote a report that was published by M&R, the Ministry of Natural Resources. After that, that was my thesis. And then I had to present it to a panel and have it approved. Other universities will offer the ability to do a thesis as coursework. So it's like a continuation of another year of university. Do your research using Myblueprint. This program is invaluable. So for example, in here, you can see that I have looked at post-secondary on the left-hand side. I brought this down. I looked college, university, and I looked for flight. If I put flight, I can see every program that offers me flight. Okay, and I can see the difference here when I look at aviation operations, Seneca. It's a 2-year program, which means this is a diploma for 2 years with an optional co-op. Okay, if I look at commercial aviation management, and I've looked specifically at what this doesn't look like I'm going to learn how to fly. This looks like I'm going to have to manage aviation. Okay, look at the cost. It's a 4-year program, a degree program at Western University. I want to point out these two. Seneca, Honors Bachelor of Aviation Tech with a co-op, 4 years, $17,000 for your first year. Okay, and Science and Aviation, University of Waterloo, 4 years, $7,000 for your first year. Both of these programs will teach you how to fly. This one is so expensive in the first year because at Seneca, you'll start your flight in your first year. Okay, you'll get up in the sky in your first year. So this tuition cost is covering some of that flight school. Flight school is super expensive. University of Waterloo is not showing that because you're not going to get up in the plane until your 3rd and 4th year. The average to get into these programs are very different, right? One's in 90s, mid 90s, and one's a high 70s, 80s. Okay, so there are very different requirements for really a very similar degree. You'll come out of both with a pilot license. Okay, do your research on them and have a look. Here I've shown biology. I'm showing biology at 3 different schools: Ryerson, University of Toronto, and Scarborough, and Lakehead. Okay, I just want to show how different the prerequisites can be. So at Ryerson, I need to have functions, and I need to have 2 of biochemistry or physics. Okay, generally kids would take biochemistry. At University of Toronto, I need calculus and functions, which means they're going to include the average of both. And I need biology and chemistry. When I look at Lakehead, I need functions, and then I need just 2 of the following. I can take calculus, data, chemistry, bio, earth and space, or physics. Okay, again, I could get into Lakehead for bio without ever having taken bio. Highly not recommended, of course, but very different requirements to get into each of these programs. Looking at them even further, look at the averages to get into them. Ryerson, mid-70s to low 80s. University of Toronto Scarborough, high 70s to high 80s. And Lakehead, low 70s. So Lakehead, because the average is lower, again, does not make it any less of a program. It's just all the way up in Thunder Bay. So the applicant pool, only 5,000 people are applying to this program, as opposed to 500,000 people applying to this program. That's going to drive up the averages at Toronto compared to Lakehead. Okay, make sure you look at the notes, recommended courses: biology, of course, chemistry and physics. And that's generally because in any science degree, you usually have to take an introductory physics course in your first year. So have a look. This one's recommended completion of all 3 sciences. Strongly recommend bio, obviously. Prerequisites should be in the 60 to 70% range. Let's look at planning timelines. So May this year, hopefully, we'll be able to do a college panel presentation where colleges will come and talk to you about their applied degrees. In October of next school year is when the university and college fairs will hopefully start up again. They were virtual this year. Let's keep our fingers crossed we can go to Toronto and participate in those next year. November, we will host our own post-secondary fair, hopefully, and have a financial aid presentation. Early January 2022 is when your university applications will be due, and early February is when college applications will be due. However, both of them will be looking at grade 11 marks and early grade 12 marks. So your important points to remember: choose wisely. Choose 8 credits and 1 alternate credit. Okay, in case, if you choose transportation and I only offer 2 sections of transportation, then only the first 42 students are getting in. So if you really want your classes, make sure that you put your options in early because they are time stamped. Take the right level. Okay, really, you need to know your pathways. Like I said before, most colleges won't give any extra credit for having university level classes. And you can have 2 grade 12 courses at the open level in grade 12. You can also choose the PLF and the kinesiology if you wanted. So you could take weight room, which is open level, not looked at by university or college. You could take phys ed, which is open level, not looked at by university or college. And you can take the leadership, which is an M level, looked at both university and college, and kinesiology. Important points: you have to have a minimum of 6th grade 12 URM courses to apply. Doesn't matter the ratio. Okay, a lot of people have a panic attack in November saying, I have too many M courses. There's a couple programs that matters for, and those are like the Schulich type of business programs, but there's very few courses that matters for. Research your prereqs. Research them. Many don't require grade 12 math if you don't need them. Your time in high school is limited to 34 credits and 4 years. Okay, there's no victory lap. So, next year mind halfway through, don't think, I messed up this year, but it's okay, I'll do another year. No. Summer school. So if you need to do summer school, university and college will not reserve a spot for you if you have to take summer school. So what I mean by that is if you need, say, grade 12 biology, it's a prerequisite to get into a program, but you can't fit it in your schedule, but you plan on taking it next summer, that is not good enough. Okay, the university and colleges need to see that you have all the courses you need in your roster next year when you apply. Okay, so when they download your stuff next October, they should see all their prerequisites being taken at some point during the year. If you passed a course and you just want to increase the marks, you're like, I'm not happy with my grade 11 math mark. Remember, that's 1 full month, not just a 2-week makeup. You can only do a 2-week makeup if you have failed a course, lower than 50 and above 35. This was all posted on the Google Classroom, but the Google Classroom, keep looking at it. We'll post more volunteer opportunities, work opportunities in the summer, your activity level forms, any clubs you're being part of, keep track of that on the activity letter so that you at commencement may be awarded a Bramley B if you joined enough clubs. And your volunteer hour forms, keep handing those in. There's an electronic version to post on the Google Classroom. How are you going to choose courses? Same as you have every year, Myblueprint. There's only one major change in Myblueprint, and that is the fact that you don't have to print off the verification form anymore and have your parents sign it because there's nobody to give it to. It's an online approval. So you'll note at the end, it asks for a parent or guardian email, put that in, and then your approval will get sent directly to them for approval. The window is going to open this Wednesday, January 13th, 8 in the morning, and I'm going to close it Friday, January 29th at 3 p.m. And you all know by now, when I say I'm going to close it, I'm going to close it. Remember, your courses are time-stamped. Make sure that you hand them in as early as you can. You will note I've posted a few things with this presentation, including a timeline chart. Within there, it shows that there's 3 Thursdays that counselors will be available for drop-in courses, and I will post the links to their drop-ins for those. So if you just want to drop in on your lunch and just say, do I need this for this? Should I be taking this? What average do I need for this? Then you can go on and ask them, or you can email or set up an appointment with them on their Google Meet. But make sure you do your research before you come to the meeting. Okay, we expect you to do some research as well. Okay, folks, I hope that was informative. Take a look at choosing Myblueprint now and how to choose courses if you need a reminder, and get your options in as soon as you can. Have a great day.